apologize to Mary Beth right off the bat because yesterday I was asking her for some bio information so I could introduce her, and on the way over here, I decided I'm going off the rails. So I think it'll be a little bit more meaningful. Not that your background isn't meaningful, but I don't know how many of you know my mother, Dorothy, but she's a 4'8" dynamo, and yeah. And if you don't know her, but you had visited the hospital in the past, you probably saw her because she was at the reception desk. She has more volunteer hours at the hospital than anybody on record. 6 years ago, she moved to Colorado Springs with my sister. She moved up there to over there to be with her. And it was devastating for us because mom had been in Stillwater for 24 years as our sons grew. She was there the whole time. When she went to Colorado Springs, my wife and I kind of checked out. And what I mean checked out is we stopped really thinking about how are we going to care for mom as she ages because now she's living somewhere else. We also anticipated that my sister would pick up that task. We were wrong in both cases. So 4 years after mom was there, we start getting calls from my sister saying, hey, mom's having issues with her memory. And it got to the point she said, we can't deal with it anymore. Can she come back to Stillwater? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's no plan? We had no plan. We moved her with no plan. And the answer is no, yes, no plan. So we said, of course she can come back here. And she moved in with us, and she was with us for 9 months. And over that 9 months, her memory did continue to get worse. Now, thankfully, her spirit, her personality stayed exactly the same. If you know her and you talk to her today, it's the same person. She's just going to ask you the same question over and over again, but it's the same person. You'll have fun, you'll laugh, you'll enjoy your time with my mom. Well, we started getting to a point where we're trying to figure out, can we leave her at home? Because she was there with my wife. Can my wife go out and do her tasks during the day? We have some rental houses. She does some work on those. And we finally decided we can't leave her home alone. So what do we do? As fate would have it, I was in Leadership Stillwater at the time, and they do a little deal where they pull together all of the nonprofits, and we kind of do a speed dating thing. And you get to know all of the nonprofits, and they tell you what it is that they do, and it just so happens that Life Center was there. I didn't know Life Center. I'd never heard of Life Center. And Mary Beth was there, and she started telling me what they do, and I was like, okay, I want to be your intern. But you have to go through this process where everybody kind of picks one, and then you barter and all this stuff. I was thankful I got Life Center because I was thinking this could be the thing. Because for 4 years, we had not been thinking about how we're going to take care of mom. All of a sudden, we've got her here, and we're caught off guard. And I get together with Mary Beth, and I start learning about what they do, and I realize what an incredible secret they are. And that's unfortunate because they should not be a secret. Because everybody in this room has the potential to go through what we went through, what we're still going through. And I didn't know who to turn to. Literally did not know who to turn to. And so we started spending more time with Mary Beth at the Life Center and started realizing what they had. Originally, I thought it was a daycare. Well, it's not. It's a place to keep people engaged, to keep them involved, to give them a sense of value in the day, because that's what everybody wants. And thankfully, the Life Center is there. Thankfully, Mary Beth is there. Got a long way. What they do matters. I'm excited to have you here, Mary Beth.
Did I get it? There we go. All right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to be here today. Working at the Life Center is one of my greatest passions. I thought long ago when I started out my career in childcare and earned a degree in child development, that was my passion. Until aging truly affected me before I was the person that was aging. So I currently serve as the executive director at the Life Center, but I also serve as an ambassador for Aging Our Way Oklahoma, which is a plan that Oklahoma Human Services has put together for the next 10 years to assist us in aging. Many of you may not know this, but by 2034, we will have more adults over the age of 65 than we do children under the age of 18. And this plan, the multi-sector plan on aging, is being put in place to make sure that we have the resources that we need so that we can all age the way we want to and not the way we have to. So I do have information about that plan here with me, so if you'd like some information about that, I'd love to share that with you. I just have to give that little plug because I'm so passionate about aging and purpose. As we age, we still need purpose. I wake up every day because I go to work, because my purpose in life is to run the Life Center, take care of my family. When you end up with an illness and it makes it hard for you to do the things that gave you purpose, you have to have purpose to keep going. So I've got that information. So let's get started. We're going to play a little game. And I promise there's going to be some purpose to this game, but I want you to hang in there with me. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to raise your hand if it applies to you. But I don't want you to put your hand down. Keep your hand up until I tell you to. So raise your hand if you have ever had an unexpected medical issue. Raise your hand if you are a caregiver or have ever been a caregiver. Raise your hand if you have ever had a need for a caregiver, even if it were temporary. Raise your hand if you have an aging neighbor or friend. Raise your hand if you have aging parents or aging grandparents. Raise your hand if you are aging. We should all have our hand up at this point because the truth is we are all aging. No matter how old you are aging. That's just is what it is. I work in this industry, and I met this woman in Oklahoma City, and she said to me one day, if you're not aging, you are dead. And it's very true. So aging affects all of us. If you had your hand up, that means that the Life Center could be for you. You could have a need for that. I needed the Life Center, and I had no idea that it was an option for my situation. The saddest part about this is the time that I needed the Life Center, I was on the board of the Life Center and did not realize that it could be for me. So the folks that you see in these photos, that's my family, my husband, my son at the time, who was 2, and that is Granny. And in some of the other photos, you can see kind of the decline that she had. One of my favorite photos there is my son and Granny in her bed together at our house, and they were buddies. So anyhow, Granny was 86 years old when she retired. She worked all the way up until she was 86 because she had no other choice but to work. She was a caring mother, a caring grandmother. She was also a single mother, and she had one child. So in 2015, her son, who was also living with her, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. A few months later, he had a heart attack. A few months later after that, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And eventually, he passed away. And so when he passed away, my husband and I took over her care. And at the time, she lived in Oklahoma City, and everything looked good, from afar. Because we would go there, and she appeared to be normal because he was covering up all of the things that weren't actually okay. As we spent more time with her, we learned that she wasn't caring for herself like she should. She was not paying her bills like she should, In fact, there was a day that we were there, and I'm glad we were, because she had fallen in the garage. And I happened to be standing there when she did. And when she toppled over, her walker also fell. And when that happened, all of these incontinence supplies and soiled clothing came out of her walker. She had been hiding that she had been taking care of these things on her own and never had told us that she was struggling with that. So at that point, we moved her to Stillwater. And at the time, I worked at a retirement community here in town. And so we decided it would be a good idea for her to move there in the independent living because there would be people there that she could socialize with. She had never taken care of herself. She needed socialization. She really didn't have friends. We were her friends, and that was it. She worked her whole life. So she moved there, but she only had her Social Security and the funding that she received when we sold her home, which was really nothing because after we paid off her home, she may have gotten $30,000 out of it. So her Social Security helped her pay for independent living, and it worked okay for a little bit. We started to see her perk up. She was doing better. She was socializing. She had friends. All was good until it wasn't. Now, again, I said I worked at the retirement community, and then at 32 years old, I got a promotion. So I got this promotion. I was so excited. I had a home office that I remodeled, completely painted, changed my whole house to turn this home office into something really great. And I was going to be traveling 50% of my time, managing other retirement communities out of town. So 2 weeks before I started my job, I got a call from the nurse at the retirement community I worked at. But I knew that it was different because it wasn't on my work phone, it was on my personal phone, and the nurse doesn't call me on my personal phone. Granny had fallen, but this time the fall was bad enough that I needed to take her to the emergency room, and I had to stay with her several days and realized this isn't going to work. She needs care. She needs 24/7 care. So she barely could pay for the independent living. Assisted living was going to cost around $6,500 a month, and there was no way that she could do that. There was no way that I could help her do that. So the only options we had were for her to move in with us and for us to take over 24/7, or she would have to go on Medicaid and live in a nursing home. And for me and for my husband, that just wasn't an option because Granny had taken such great care of us. We were not going to do that. We didn't feel like she was ready for that. So we moved her in. And that brand new office that I had worked so hard on became my bedroom because my husband and I moved out of the master bedroom so that Granny could have her own bathroom. And we did our very best to care for her. And I'll tell you, it was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. Because here I am. I've got a brand new job. I've got to travel. I'm working from home. Granny has dementia. And I start to see more and more what's happening. And I would be on conference calls. You know, I'm supposed to be professional. I'm talking to employees. I'm working, and Granny would come pounding on the door. There's somebody at the door. No, Granny, I've got a camera here. I can see the door. Nobody's there. And in her mind, somebody was there, so I would always have to get up and go check. And there would be all kinds of shenanigans that Granny did. I mean, all day long I would deal with shenanigans. And if I wasn't home, that meant that my husband would have to take off work and take care of her while I was traveling. So the nights got longer because if you know about dementia, a lot of times folks with dementia have a hard time differentiating morning from night. We might sleep all day but be up all night, and we got in a phase of that. And there were very, very long nights. There were nights, I mean, honestly, that I thought, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And I want you to remember, I was on the board at the Life Center. Never once did it cross my mind that this would be a place that could help us. They could provide us some resources, or they might be able to actually provide us some respite so that I could get some work done. So this quote here This is a really strong reminder of what caregivers feel like. And I am so embarrassed, but kind of proud to show you this photo because I want people to understand. This photo was taken after a few days of an illness on top of dementia. And it was taken from a Facebook post that I had written, and I was desperate at that point. I didn't mean to put that shirt on at the time, but it really makes a lot of sense now. So the quote says, "The last few days we have been dealing with some major challenges that have truly tested my patience. We have been functioning on little sleep, doing things for others that we never imagined we would have to do. And I have literally wondered how in the world would we make it through this phase in our lives." When I tell you that was the most difficult thing I've ever done, it truly is. I mean, there were days that she would call out in the middle of the night, and we would maybe sleep 2 hours and then have to go live our lives. But also, she didn't understand why she couldn't give my son candy at 8 o'clock in the morning. She didn't understand that she couldn't eat from the bag of chips that the whole family's eating from and then blow her nose and continue to do so, or dip the spoon in the peanut butter. I mean, there was just so many things. It wasn't just being a caregiver that made it difficult. And we needed a break. We never did the Life Center, but we should have done the Life Center. And I actually did not realize or know that the Life Center was an option for us until I started working at the Life Center in 2022. So I've made it my personal goal and mission to make sure that everybody knows the Life Center is for you. Even if you don't think it's for you, call us and we'll help you figure something out, because it may not be the option, but we have the resources, we have contacts, and we can help you figure out what to do. Like Joe had said, we had visited for a long time. And his mom never came to us, but we had a lot of conversations about what can you do? Here are the resources that are available. Here are the options that are available. We have support groups, things like that. So the Life Center is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we provide safe, structured environments for older adults and individuals with disabilities who need supervision, social engagement, and assistance with daily activities. We promote and enhance well-being and promote independence and enhance well-being, and we support both participants and their caregivers. We do personal care, so if individuals might have a need for toileting while they're with us, we can assist them with that. We can help them with medications that may need to be given while they're with us. We have activities, and they're not just to keep people busy. They help provide purpose. Not everybody finds enjoyment in playing dominoes. I love playing dominoes, but that's not everybody's deal. We meet with families before they get to us, before they bring their loved one, and we find out who their loved one is now, who they were before, and what the goals are for them. And a lot of times we find that Mom really likes to clean the kitchen. I feel like Joe and I had a conversation one day that, Mom wants to do the dishes, but we don't really want her to do the dishes because we're afraid that she's going to break them. Well, that's fine. We have plastic dishes, and we have a mock kitchen, so moms can come and wash dishes if they want all day long. They can come in and they can sweep. It doesn't have to be clean. It doesn't have to be done right. It's just for them to have purpose. We recently brought an individual in that we thought would find more purpose in doing office work. So we set up a desk, we put in an adding machine, and we put up pictures that were similar to the pictures they would have had in their office so that they could continue to have that purpose and be safe. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life for the elderly and disabled and their caregivers by providing compassionate support, comprehensive resources, and innovative programs. We are dedicated to fostering independence, dignity, and a sense of community, ensuring that everyone we serve can lead fulfilling lives and thrive in a supportive environment. Through advocacy, education, and personalized care, we strive to create a world where every individual is valued, empowered, and able to achieve their fullest potential. So as I mentioned, we provide personal care. We have caregiver support. We offer a caregiver support group, but we also offer guidance and education to help our families navigate the care for their loved one. We can do medication management. We do community outings. I don't know if you've seen us out in the community, but we will go to different places, like we've been to museums, we go to the botanical gardens, anywhere that will allow us to come, we like to go out and get involved. We serve lunch every day, so our participants get meals from Mobile Meals. We do laundry. This is a new service that we just started, so again, being a caregiver is rough. If we can take one thing off of your plate, laundry is really hard sometimes. When participants come in, they drop their laundry off with us. We wash it, fold it, and when their families come to pick them up, they take it home. And we provide safety and security, which is really important when you're trying to work and you know that it's difficult to care for your loved one. You know that they could possibly try to wander away. We just recently installed a keyless entry system that allows our doors to be locked at all times, and the only way to get out is through a button at our desk. So why is Adult Day a compelling option? I have to pull out all of my stats here because they're really kind of baffling. First of all, it addresses the growing aging population that I mentioned earlier. As I said, by 2034, adults 65 and over will outnumber those under the age of 18 in the U.S. In Oklahoma, the 60-plus population is expected to grow by 21% in the next decade. And as the aging population expands, the demand for care and services is going to increase. We also help enhance the health and well-being of individuals. Many participants in Adult Days centers have chronic conditions like hypertension. 46% of individuals currently enrolled in Adult Day programs suffer from hypertension. And other physical disabilities, there's 42% and 31% of Adult Day participants have diabetes. So Adult Day services can provide tailored health programs leading to better health outcomes and lower our healthcare cost. We also can help with reducing the social isolation and loneliness. 34% of older adults experience loneliness, which negatively affects their mental and physical health. Oklahoma ranks 41st in the nation for social isolation risk in seniors. And Adult Day services offer social engagement and helps to combat that loneliness and isolation. And then we support caregivers. Adult Day services provide respite care, allowing our caregivers to work and rest. According to insights from the Multi-Sector Plan on Aging, Oklahoma caregivers provide 440 million hours of unpaid care annually. That's valued at $5.8 billion per year. 23% of family caregivers reported negative impacts on their physical health. And oftentimes what we see is caregivers typically, if they're older, pass away before their loved one that they're caring for because they don't care for themselves. And then another piece of this is the cost. Adult Day, the average cost of Adult Day is $83 per day, or $2,500 a month. The average monthly cost in assisted living is $4,088. I'm here to tell you right now that cost is much more than that. This is just numbers based off of something else that I pulled, because if you called around, it's more expensive than that. Nursing homes for semi-private rooms, the average monthly cost is $5,931. Adult Day services are more affordable, and it helps families manage the care cost. Had we done Adult Day, we would have saved Granny so much money, and she would have been able to spend her money on other things rather than independent living, because even when she was in independent living, she could have benefited from the services at Adult Day. So paying for Adult Day, there's also a lot of ways that you can do that. We are a nonprofit. We do not turn anybody away regardless of their ability to pay the fees that we have. So folks can pay privately with an out-of-pocket payment based on our daily and hourly rate, which our current hourly rate is $11.44. And so if somebody's only there 2 hours, they only pay for 2 hours. There are state and Medicaid funded programs, but folks have to be eligible, and we can walk them through the eligibility process. Some veterans benefits cover our services. Some long-term care policies will cover adult day programs, but the Life Center also has scholarships. Thanks to our generous donors, grants, and supporters, we can offer scholarships to anybody in need of financial assistance, even if they don't qualify for the state and federal programs, because I'm here to tell you there are a lot of people that fall through the cracks because they make just a little bit too much to meet those expectations. We are a United Way partner agency, and so a lot of the grant funding that we get through the United Way goes to our scholarship programs. So if somebody wanted to get started, it's really simple. There's not a long process. You give us a call to learn more about us. We do have to go through some paperwork. We do have to get doctor's orders because it is still a medical place. We do have CNAs on staff. We have a nurse that we consult with and that oversees all of our medication management and makes sure that we are trained in doing what we're supposed to do. But it's really not difficult to get started. And as I said, if you don't know where to start in the process, give us a call. We can help you start the process, whether it's coming to the center or just looking for options for your family members or for yourselves. Do we have any questions?
What percentage of your total yearly budget is covered by Medicaid? That's the first part of the question. And the second part is do you see, given the current discussions in Washington, that might be at risk?
So that varies because it's based on how many people we actually have that are on a Medicaid waiver coming to us, so that can vary. But I would say it's about 20% or more. I can't really answer about what's going on in Washington because when I call my contacts that contract with our program, they answer, we already have our money. We already have our funding. We've already got our budgets. They can't take that away. Are we worried? Yes, we're worried. But I also know that we have a lot of folks that are donors that will step up if we need help. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned respite care.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an option for a family to get sleep at night on a respite basis? Is just daytime?
It's just daytime. So we're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Yes, ma'am.
How many participants do you have currently?
So we currently have 26 participants enrolled, and we serve about, last month it was about 17 on average per day. The great thing is they don't have to come every day. They don't have to come all day. We have some that come just a few days a week, but we are licensed to serve 40. We can serve 40 individuals every day, and we are ready for 40 a day. It's funny that you asked that because I've gone back and looked at our data because when I started, there were only 8 individuals. COVID really almost shut the Life Center down completely. We lost a lot of participants then, and I thought that would have been the point where we started losing traction, but really 2013, and I can attest that too, that's when some of the retirement communities started coming in town. So after 2013, we started to lower our level of people coming in because before that, they were serving 40 people a day with a wait list.
So what's your relationship with First Christian Church?
So First Christian Church provides the space that we're in, but they do a lot for us. They don't govern us. We are not a part of the church. We just utilize the space at the church. But they are amazing to us. They have raised money. The reason we get to provide laundry services is because they raised the money to put in the washer and dryer for us to be able to do that. If we have a need, we go to them. They can help us with that. We have volunteers. We have board members from the church. But as far as governing goes, they're not involved in that piece. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a starting age limit? Like, 74, is that too young?
No.
Or do you?
No, we serve anyone over the age of 18. Now, the Life Center, LIFE is an acronym for Living Improvement for the Elderly. So our main focus is on aging individuals, but we do serve all aged adults.
I just want to say we go to the Christian church, and through the years, since 1983, I've had so many friends say, I'm sorry, so many friends say, that Life Center helped us so much. I have never heard a negative comment about the Life Center.
Thank you, Linda. There's one right here.
What are y'all's volunteer needs?
So our volunteer needs are kind of difficult because we do have to have licensed staff that are one-on-one with our participants, but we love people to be able to come in and help teach a class or provide some sort of entertainment. We have people that come in and play guitar, sing for us. We love music. We used to have people come and help in our gardens. I do not have a green thumb. That's not my thing. And if you went in our garden right now, it would not be impressive. But we would love to have somebody come in and help with gardening. That's something that we're really lacking. And musical programs are huge, art classes, things like that. Yes, sir.
Do you all have a method to either pick an individual up or take them home late in the evening? I mean, I don't know what time you close, but if their caregivers can't get there, what do you do?
Right. So right now, we do have a bus, but we only use that for community outings for the moment. It is on my list of things to add transportation services to and from. However, there's a little bit of cost associated with that. We'd have to have a whole staff member just to do that. And our bus is not always 100% reliable right now. So that is in the works. But right now, our caregivers can rely on the bus. The paratransit bus does come to the center, and First Capital Trolley. But those services have to be paid for out of pocket. They're not typically covered by insurances or anything. Anybody else?
You get money from United Way. I'm curious, are you from a partner agency?
Yes, we are a United
So
Way partner
the
agency.
question was United Way.
Yes, we are a United Way partner agency.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Very
guys.
enlightening. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Wow. That was too close to home a couple of times. All right.